What do you do when your engines don't want to keep working correctly? Stay tuned. So number 5 on my top 5 reasons why engines don't want to work well is very simple. Dirty track and dirty wheels. Number 4 on my top 5 reasons why American Flyer steam engines sometimes have problems operating smoothly is lubrication. There are many points on a steam engine that need lubrication. Side rods, engine points, gears, axles are just to name a few. Over time, these places, if they have lubrication, can see that lubrication either dry up or become hard. So it's important that you periodically check your engine's lubrication points and make sure that they're freshly lubricated. The third most frequent issue for keeping American Flyer steam engines from operating correctly or smoothly is simply solder joints. There are many points on a steam engine where there are solder joints, and when you're using an engine that's 50 years old or older, sometimes those joints are in not very good shape. Sometimes a wire itself is not in very good shape. An example of that would again be if I pick on this 080 switcher. In the tender, you're going to have connection joints for each of the power trucks. Those in turn are going to go to a reversing unit, either in the tender or in the engine. From the reversing unit, the wires are going to go to the motor and the light bulb and possibly a smoke unit. So there are multiple points along the way where a bad wire or a bad solder joint that has come loose can cause an engine not to operate. So those are something that if you're finding that your engine's not operating, take a few moments just to look for any loose or broken wires. They tend to be easy fixes. Number 2 on my list of top 5 reasons why a steam engine can have issues is a loose screw. I have a Northern on my layout that was going through switches and derailing time and time again. And this happened all of a sudden after running for many hours problem-free. Unfortunately, I didn't think to look for a loose screw, and so instead tore apart my layout and spent many hours replacing switches thinking that somehow the switches themselves were the culprit. As it turned out, that after doing all these changes to the layout and seeing the engine still derail every time it went through a switch, I picked it up to take it to the roundhouse to see what was wrong. And on the bottom of American Flyer steam engines, there are several screws. And again, depending on the engine, there may be different screws and different lengths of screws. On this particular example of an 080 switcher, there are 2 screws here that will go up through the frame into the smoke box. And those screws hold the pieces together along with the frame. On my Northern, one of these screws had decided to work its way loose, and it stuck far enough below the frame here, the screw would catch a switch as the engine went over the switches and slightly throw them, causing the rest of the engine to derail. The number 1 most complicated reason why American Flyer steam engines will sometimes suddenly cease working is a reversing unit, and in particular, the fingers on a reversing unit. I have had more problems with an engine working perfectly and all of a sudden not working at all, and going through every connection, checking every solder joint, even using a continuity check to make sure that everything works, only to finally figure out that the fingers on the reversing unit are pitted or slightly broken, and they're inhibiting enough current that it won't allow the engine to work. So if you ever have a steam engine that either won't work or suddenly stops working, and you've checked the easy things like dirty wheels, broken wires, solder joints, lubrication, then take a look at the fingers on the reversing unit. It's not a bad idea to have a few spare to replace those ones that get burned out. American Flyer steam engines and diesels for that matter are a lot of fun. They're mechanical, and as such, when things break, it's usually fairly simple to fix and track down replacement parts if you need them. I still really enjoy this hobby, even though I'm using equipment that's sometimes over 50 years old and has a tendency to break down. Like I said, because it's simple mechanics, a little bit of solder, a little bit of oil usually takes care of the problem. So if you're considering a hobby, please consider American Flyer S-Scale trains. They're a great way to learn from history. They're a lot of fun and something you certainly can enjoy with others. If you have any questions or comments, or you happen to have some top 5 lists, so to speak, of things that inhibit your engines from operating smoothly, don't forget to add those comments. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. I'd love to hear from your experience as well. Thanks a lot for your time, and as always, please don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy your electric trains from Gilbert American Flyer.